Hey y'all, so I have been tagged in the Newbie Booktuber Tag by the Bearded Bookworm, and so I'm really excited to go ahead and dive into my first tag ever. So I've got my list of questions here, and we're going to answer them, and then I've got a couple of people that I'm going to tag myself at the end. So the first question was, why did you start your channel? And that's kind of a good question. I really don't know. I feel like my love for reading has definitely been a big part of that. I started using Caravan to kind of get involved in book club groups to help keep me motivated, because I did have a few years of a dry spell where I really didn't read that much. So I used that to bring myself back into reading, and I loved, once I started with Caravan, I loved the sense of community. The community has been very nice and welcoming, just like the Bearded Bookworm who tagged me in this. Knickknack's Corner, I'm part of his Discord channel, which is where I've met a lot of people. Same as Mike's book reviews, I'm in his Discord channel as well. But I've noticed, that I do talk to a lot of people in those channels, and we kind of get to know each other, we support each other. And I really enjoy it. We talk about a variety of different books, and so many of those people there, they've added great books to my TBR list, and I really enjoy that sense of community, and so I wanted to start a channel to be a part of that community. Not necessarily, I want to grow my channel, but I don't want to, grow away from these other people. I want to be a part of it with them, and so that's kind of why I started this. So yeah, that was a interesting question. I had to really think about those answers. Next question. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? Which I think is an important question. I think one of the more unique things I do is my TBR list, where I have them randomized. I pull out a random book and I actually have them wrapped. Now I know there are several other people that do that. It was kind of funny because I started doing that around Christmas time, and then maybe 2 weeks after that, Murphy put up her video about her wrapping some of her subscribers' books that they sent her, and I was a little disappointed because I'd been doing it, and she's so amazing. So I was a little disappointed because it wasn't that unique at all. It wasn't. Not that I thought that it was super unique, but I hadn't started my channel yet. I was planning on doing that after the first of the year, so I didn't, she started doing that, and I didn't want people to feel like I copied off of her, but the more that I've kind of watched more of YouTube, or Booktube I should say, I've noticed that a lot of people do that. They do their own versions. A lot of people do like a TBR jar, or just pulling out a random number generator, things like that. So a lot of people do the randomization, and that's what I like. Mine is slightly different in the fact that I only do them in sets of 10, because as my list grows, I don't want to forget about books that I initially put on my TBR list in the very beginning, because some of those books ended up just sitting on my shelf for years. And if I randomize my entire TBR list, then I feel like some of those books are going to fall in the cracks, and they're just going to sit there for years, and I may never get around to reading them. So I do them in sets of 10. That way I kind of keep up with the recent, it's still randomized, but keep up with my recent, or my original, I should say, my original TBR that I got excited about. So the other thing that is unique that I think I can bring to Booktube is a project that I'm currently working on. I don't want to talk about details because I'm not ready to put it out. It's an interesting project because it's going to span roughly 225 episodes, and I would plan to post those one a week. It wouldn't replace any of my other videos, but it would be alongside some of my other videos. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to talk about it. I'm not ready. It may take me a couple of months to get the first part of this project up and running. But as far as I can tell with my research, no one else has really done what I'm planning to do on the YouTube forum. There may be another platform out there that's done it. I just don't know because I've only been researching on YouTube. And so I feel like there's been some things done similar, but not quite. So I'm hoping that it will be unique and might can bring some more views to the channel, and hopefully people will enjoy it. Because I said it's going to be over 200 episodes or 200 videos, and I want it to be worth the time and the effort. Because once I start it, I don't want to not finish it. So hopefully they'll be worth it. I think I'm still going to have a great time doing it. The reading portion of it and then the filming portion of it, I think I'm still going to have a great time. So I'm not too worried about that aspect, but I also want people to enjoy reading it as well. Or I want people to enjoy watching it as well. So, third question. What are you most excited for about this new channel? What I'm really excited about my new project. I'm hoping that it goes well. So I'm really excited about that, but I'm also most excited just about the new community that I'm a part of, the people that I've been talking to and chatting with. That's what I've been most excited about this, and I think that's really the essence of what we're doing here on Booktube in general, and that's what people want, is they want that sense of community and friendship with other book lovers. So next question. Why do you love reading? So I had kind of a difficult childhood, and so I would tend to read to escape the real world. And reading got me through some really difficult times. I feel like reading, especially certain books at certain points in my life, they really helped me grow as a person. And I think that those books shaped me and made me into the person I am today. And hopefully I am a better person because of it. I think reading, it can just really help people see perspectives from other people, from other points of view. And if you're able to see those other points of view, you can grow that empathy that you have with other people. So I may not understand why a certain person would act a certain way, but if you read something, they give you that perspective, and you may not agree with it, but you can understand it, you can put yourself in their place, and that's why I love reading. I think it can really help people in everything. It can help you become a better person. And that sounds really cheesy to say out loud, but it does. And it did for me. So, next question, we'll move on. What book or series got you into reading? So, I always read even in middle school, but I don't really remember what books I read in middle school. I tend to have a pretty terrible memory. So I don't have a vivid memory. I know that I read because we had the accelerated reader program, so I always got those awards, all of the pizza parties, and top reader of the class, sometimes even top 5 of the whole grade, which they made a big deal out of, just because I read so much and we had to take those tests. So not only did you have to read that many books, you also had to test to make sure that you actually read the book. And I enjoyed it because I got to read whatever I wanted to. And I didn't mind having to take the test. They were only like 10 questions. And I didn't mind taking them because I was reading what I enjoyed. So when you got into middle school, that story changed a little bit. So when I got into middle school, they started trying to force us to read certain books, and I hate that. You can't, if you force me to read a book, I'm automatically going to hate it. And I don't know what it is about me, but I didn't like any of the books that I was ever forced to read in middle school, and especially in high school. If I had a choice in what I got to read, then I would enjoy it better. So I think that's why I don't really care for classics as much. Now, I did start reading Harry Potter in middle school. When the first book came out, I was 11, so I was the same age as Harry, and I think that's really where I think that's what I would say really got me into reading was Harry Potter. By the time the 5th book came out, let's see, maybe I wasn't, I don't think, when the first book came out, I wasn't quite 11, but I had started reading them, because I think the first 2 were already out by the time I picked them up, now that I remember and I'm really thinking back on it. But anyway, by the time I got to the 5th book, I was 14, roughly, so a little bit younger than Harry. I don't know, my timing is all weird on this. But I was roughly the same age as Harry, pretty much, give or take a year or 2. And when I was that age, the 5th book had come out, and I had just recently had 2 very serious deaths in my family, and I was not handling it well. And reading the 5th book, which a lot of people say is their least favorite because Harry is so angsty, but it really got me through that time. And when I talk about books shaping me as a person, these books are the first thing that comes to mind. So that there's that. Now recently, what got me back into reading, the first book that really kind of sent me off was The Chestnut Man, which I read because of Knickknack's Corner. But the series has been Brandon Sanderson, his Cosmere series. I've flown through the first 3 books here. I'm working on the 4th one. So I've just really enjoyed his writing, and he has some really good points of view in those books as well. So that was kind of a lengthy answer, I'm sorry. The next question would be, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? My question would be, how do you handle so many people telling you to read certain books? Because as I've said, I don't do well with that. Now, there's a difference between people suggesting I read a book, but if someone hounds me about it, so like if someone suggests that I read this book and I'm like, that doesn't really sound like something I'd be interested in, and they keep hounding me, then the more they hound me, the less likely I'm going to read it, even if they have good intentions. But if they suggest it to me and they just tell me why they think I should like it, most times I'll seriously give it a consideration and I'll add it to my TBR, but I'm kind of not sure how they handle just reading books for their subscribers, because they have thousands of subscribers, and I know Murphy does like a book that she DNFs that her subscribers get to vote on which one she picks back up, and I don't know how I'd handle that. Maybe if I become a better reader, that wouldn't be so bad. But that would be my question, is how they handle that, and if how they are able to push through books that they may not really be interested in, but still reading for their subscribers. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Definitely building an audience. That's going to be, I mean, that's true for any YouTube channel, so that's going to be the hardest, I believe. And the other is just kind of to pick up my reading speed, because I know I don't read as many books as a lot of other booktubers. So I'm hoping to kind of make up for that with my project, as well as just good quality content and the community. When did you start reading? So I kind of already answered this, I guess, into what books and series got you into reading, because I kind of dove a little deeper into that one maybe than what it meant for me to. But I'd say elementary school, and then that carried me all the way up through my young adult years. In the past few years, I did take a severe break of several years of just not reading hardly anything. I may have read like 1 or 2 books a year, but now I'm back in full swing, and I've missed it so much. I'm so glad to be back reading. So next question, where do you read? I read a lot of places. Mostly I read on my couch or in my bed before I go to bed. I also read in my office at work, because like on my lunch break, I'll hurry and eat, and then I'll use the rest of my lunch break to read. So I read in my office a lot. I also read, if you're counting audiobooks, which I do, I read while driving. I listen to books while I'm driving in the car, and also while I'm showering. I go back and forth between music and books, but I tend to listen to books more than I do listen to music. What kinds of books do you like to read? So I read a lot of fantasy, but I also like a lot of general fiction. So I read a lot of general fiction, and I've kind of dipped my toes into thrillers a little bit here lately. Gillian Flynn is one of my favorite authors, and she does write thrillers. So I love like the dark psychological books. I really was into that for a good long time. Now I'm just kind of into fantasy at the moment, but I love dark and twisty books and fantasy. That's my favorite. So yeah, those are all the questions. So now it's the newbie tag, and so like I said, Bearded Bookworm is the one that tagged me, so thank you for the tag. I am going to, on my end, tag Miss Richards Reads. I stumbled upon her channel through Caravan, I believe, or maybe it was Mike's Book Reviews, I can't remember, but I stumbled on her channel, and she has some really cute stuff, and I haven't watched a whole lot of her stuff yet, but I do plan on watching more, because I want to, see what she has, get to know her a little bit as well. So I'm tagging Miss Richards Reads, and then I'm also tagging Breakeven Books. I don't know if he'd really be considered newbie, but he's a channel that he's new to me. I just recently stumbled upon his channel as I was watching some of my other friends in the community, and I wanted to tag him as well. A lot of the other booktubers that I've been recently talking to, they've been tagged, or they tagged me. Bearded Bookworm tagged me in this one, so I wanted to really kind of branch out and find some new channels that I'm going to enjoy as well. So Miss Richards Reads and Breakeven Books is who I'm tagging, and hopefully they'll do the tag as well. So go check out their channels. Definitely check out Bearded Bookworm, Knickknack's Corner, and Mike's Book Reviews. And hopefully I'll chat with all of y'all down in the comments in the Discord chat, and I'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care.